Welcome to the Amador Fire Can Report, your go-to source for the latest updates, insights, and stories from Amador Fire. Serving over 500 square miles from the vineyards in the valley to the snow-capped Sierras, our combination department staffs 9 stations and puts 7 engines on the road every single day. Backed by a team of dedicated professionals and more than 30 committed volunteers, we're here to protect, serve, and engage with our community. From fire safety tips to behind-the-scenes action, we're here to keep you informed. Before coming on full-time with Amador Fire, he balanced 2 demanding careers, working in the fast-paced environment of Kaiser's ER while also serving with Sassoon Fire Department. That experience gave him a unique perspective on emergency response, patient care, and the physical and mental toll this job can take. Now, as a full-time fire captain with Amador Fire, he's not only leading on the fire ground, but also leading our health and wellness program, an initiative that's all about making sure our firefighters are physically strong, mentally sharp, and ready for the job, both on and off duty. Firefighting is tough, and Captain Gonsalves is making sure our crews have the resources and support they need to stay in the fight for the long haul. I'm your host, Kayla Dale, so let's dive in. Well, welcome, Captain Gonsalves, to episode 6 of the Can Report. I'm very excited to sit down with you and talk about the Amador Fire Health and Wellness Program and all that it brings to Amador Fire and the personnel of Amador Fire. And I just want to start by talking about, your role as the leader with this health and wellness program. And something that we talked about before this podcast actually started was physical fitness, and that it's always been a part of you, and how that correlates with you leading this health and wellness program.
Physical fitness has always been very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up, I was always playing sports, always part of a team. Until I got into college, played a little bit of college football, and it came time to pick what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't grow up wanting to be a firefighter or a fire chief like a lot of the guys around here, but I wanted to find something that kind of embodied who I was as a person. I always enjoyed being physically fit. I always enjoyed being a part of a team. And I came across the fire service, and it kind of continued that legacy. So finding the fire service kind of brought me out of my shell a little bit. Mm-hmm. It kept me physically active. It kept me part of a team that I've grown to really enjoy and love, and has become more like a second family to me. Yeah. But physically, I was always a small stature kind of a guy, and it forced me to really become much more physically active, and it's kind of that tradition stayed with me. So it's physical fitness is always at the forefront of my mind. The stronger that I get, the easier the job becomes. Right. And I've never wanted to limit what I can do or how I perform by my physical fitness level. So it's always been very important to me. I impart that on my crews. We're always physically active. We're always active in the gym, and we're adding different components to be able to keep us ready for action.
Yeah, and I think your dedication to physical fitness not only benefits you personally, but it also sets a powerful example for your crews. I think it's so inspiring to see you prioritize staying active and ready for action. And that mindset has clearly translated into your work with the health and wellness program. You're passionate about implementing new initiatives like we've talked about and elevating Amador Fire's physical fitness standards even further. But before we dive into those initiatives, I just want to take a quick moment to talk about Coach Mueller. I know Chief Withrow connected you and him, and I'd love for you to walk our listeners through who Coach Mueller is and what he does to be instrumental, in Amador Fire's health and wellness approach.
Coach Mueller has been an asset to the department. He's been on board with us for the last couple of months. Mm-hmm. It's been a very successful program. Coach Mueller played for the Raiders some time back, and he is just a mountain of a man. He comes through and he runs Mueller's Elite Fitness in Jackson. He organizes and puts together more functional fitness workouts for each of the crews. So he shows up, comes through each of the stations once a week, performs these different types of workouts for our guys, and it's been hugely beneficial, for people that, are still trying to find their program, what works for them, because everybody's workouts are a little bit different. It takes time and experience to be able to kind of narrow in on how your body reacts to different workouts.
Right.
But Coach Mueller's fitness regimen is more functional in nature, and I think being able to kind of blend the heavy weight training with the cardio and the more compound movements has been great.
I'll admit, I'm embarrassed too, but I'll admit I haven't had the opportunity to meet Coach Mueller yet, but I recognize the importance of what he brings to the table. I think his focus on injury prevention, and your focus for that matter, aligns with our goals as a department. As we've discussed before, being prepared to respond at a moment's notice, and sometimes that moment is 2 a.m, is crucial. And taking the time and having a professional pour into us the proper stretching, the proper form, injury prevention techniques are essential for ensuring that our firefighters are always ready for action.
Yeah. And injury prevention is at the forefront of my mind when we're talking about working out. I don't want to see any of our members go out on injury for any reason, but if we're doing functional workouts, it kind of limbers us up a little bit more for when we roll out of bed at 2:00 in the morning and we're going from 0 to 100, run into a structure fire. It's it helps overall reduce our injuries at work.
One important realization that I've had while learning about the health and wellness program, especially during the initial meetings as it was being implemented, is that many people tend to focus on traditional aspects of health and wellness, such as the exercise or the nutrition part. And there's so much more to consider. This program encompasses, your physical fitness, your mental health, your nutrition, your wellness training, your education, and personal motivation. And I just believe that this comprehensive approach is incredibly beneficial for Amador Fire and its personnel, or our personnel, and it will be greatly enhanced overall, as years to come with it. And I think with that, this is a good opportunity to kind of segue into the critical incident debriefing. So, Captain Gonsalves, if you could just kind of walk us through what that is and what that looks like.
Well, critical incident stress debriefing is very important, I think, in the fire service and this type of work. In the old days, we grew up and we got into the fire service and we were big, strong, tough men. And a lot of our stresses and concerns and everything was kind of hashed out around the kitchen table. And that still happens to this day. But sometimes it takes a little bit more in-depth approach, a more formal approach to be able to truly debrief from a stressful call or situations. A lot of times now we'll have a tailboard meeting after the call. I'll get everybody together. We'll have a quick discussion, make sure everybody is okay. But the people in this fire service are ranging from 20, 21 years old who still live at home or haven't had as much life experience as some of us older folks, and haven't processed or kind of narrowed in on a way that they can debrief themselves. Maybe they're missing cues in their own life that should lead them towards maybe asking for help. But like I said, we have people that with different experience levels, people that have seen everything and people that have seen, very little. And being able to bounce these ideas and these feelings and these thoughts off of somebody that has been there, that has seen it, or people that have worked those specific incidents with you is incredibly helpful. And having that formal training is useful in the larger scale incidents where we everybody identifies with different incidents differently. And you can be doing this job for 40 years and you come across one specific call that maybe just affected you a little bit differently. Whether it be I've got a wife, I've got kids, I'm working on a child that's my kid's age, or a family. Those are the types of incidents that can just maybe just affect you a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Especially with having years of experience. It's just that one little thing that you identify with that could be problematic.
Right.
And something that maybe you need to speak about.
Yeah.
So the program is incredibly useful. It's helpful. We've already put it into play, and it doesn't have to be the guy that has 20 years of experience that says, hey, you know what, I think it's needed. It can be anybody that was at the incident, anybody that hears about the incident, somebody that participated in trying to be part of the help,
right,
part of the solution. So being able to have that freedom to be able to say, from the probationary firefighter to the fire chief, say, hey, I think it would be useful. That's when we get the program going.
And something that I really admire about the personnel that make up Amador Fire is being able to recognize the importance of the health and wellness program and how vital it is for our members. You mentioned it can be easy to dismiss concerns with a simple, they'll be fine, or just go home and sleep it off, which reflects, that traditional mindset of the fire service. However, acknowledging that these conversations are necessary and it's crucial. I think it takes courage, like you mentioned, for our crews to put themselves in a vulnerable position to discuss their needs and seek support, creating a safe space, for these conversations where everyone feels comfortable sharing. I think it's essential. And while it may sound cliche, fostering an environment where our firefighters can express themselves openly without judgment, it's invaluable.
It is. And you spoke a little bit about, bringing things from work home, having a stable home life and having a nice work-life balance is very helpful because, we need time to decompress. We need time to mellow out and be able to spend time with our families away from the chaos and,
right,
destruction of what we do, day in and day out here at the fire service.
And I believe this initiative is incredibly impactful, like I mentioned earlier. And I do truly anticipate that as individuals within Amador Fire progress in their careers and move up the ranks, more people will become engaged with it. I see how much energy you're pouring into this program. And I think the experiences that they encounter on calls and the incidents they respond to will undoubtedly shape their perspectives on the importance of this health and wellness program. And with that in mind, I have to just ask you, because I've been thinking about this the whole time, what have you learned or what has surprised you the most while researching and implementing this health and wellness program?
I learned that there are a lot of different facets that are kind of compiled into the health and wellness because it's so much more than just physical health. It's so much more than nutrition. And a lot of people, the layperson just sees the fire service and the fire members as these people are invincible, and we're normal people with an extraordinary job,
right?
And there are times when we have great shifts. And there are times when we have not so great shifts, and we have to be able to be prepared to respond to those calls as well, because that's why we're here. But we're just normal people. We have wives and kids and outside distractions, and part of the health and wellness program is to be able to help our membership deal with not only the stresses of the job, but the stresses of home. Not everybody has the ability to just walk away and just be home and be present. A lot of people, due to the stress of what we do, will turn to alcohol and other vices that are counterproductive, both in the fire service and for the normal person. So we deal with things differently. But if we were given the tools to be able to combat that and process things, I think the overall outcome is much, much better.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned earlier, having a fire chief who is so passionate about this program and the importance of this program, I think really speaks volumes. In my experience, I haven't seen anything like this in other departments, and perhaps it's just a reflection of how our understanding of wellness has evolved over the years. But I think having a dedicated person, being yourself, overseeing this program, someone who anyone can call or easily reach out to, I should say, creates a powerful sense of support. And Captain Gonsalves, you've done an outstanding job implementing this initiative and getting the word out. We've recently, as you know, have started an internal newsletter, and I'm excited that we're including updates about the health and wellness program. It's just one more way to ensure that everyone knows there's a safe space to talk and that there are resources available to them.
It was very satisfying to have that phone tree put into play, recently, and I think it did a lot of good.
And real quick for our listeners, just explain how the phone tree works.
So we've notified all of our membership about the wellness program, who contact people are. We have a peer support group that consists of not just myself, but other people on other shifts. Other battalion chiefs are participating in it. These are members that have gone through a formal peer support training. We have a lot of resources that have been compiled, and with the help of Captain Tosti and Kathy Hopkins, they were kind of the template that we've kind of spurred off of to get our program up and running. But as far as the phone tree, everyone knows who is a part of the peer support group and the health and wellness program. So all it really takes is picking up the phone and making a phone call, and we kind of do the rest. We double check and make sure who is working on these incidents, who we need to include, who we can reach out to. In our last one, it wasn't just Amador Fire.
And forgive me for this one, how long has the health and wellness program been launched for within Amador Fire?
Oh. Well, it took several months to get things organized, because this program is completely new, not just to me, but to Amador Fire. But it took several months of talking to different organizations. How is theirs laid out? So having a template to go off of that we can kind of modify and tailor to Amador Fire's needs was huge. It was a great starting point.
Right.
But it's probably been in play officially for the last few months.
Excellent. I'm really excited about the potential for this podcast. We have so many topics we want to explore and a variety of people we want to interview. And I think having you as one of our early guests is just great. And I can't wait to see where the health and wellness program stands a year from now, bring you back on the podcast and, kind of do a comparison of where we started and where we are. And I have to ask, before we wrap up this episode, do you notice the crews engaging more during mealtime or station time, asking questions about this program? Or maybe showing more interest is a better way to say it. I think that would be a great indicator of how well it's resonating with everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of that comes from the feedback that we get as a peer support group. We've had, like I said, members that have participated in the resiliency training that have come back that have spoken greatly in about the program itself. So that's something that it's kind of been vetted and we pushed out to the membership and given them the opportunity to take advantage of that program. In the past, we've always been notified of the EAP availability, and it's nice to be able to direct members to programs that have already been vetted that maybe specialize in fire service or EMS, because it's different.
Yeah. And I have to think there's not necessarily a generational gap, but, people have been teaching these classes or EAP or whatever, but things evolve and things change. And now, we're a department that does have a lot of younger firefighters. And so how to get through to them may be different than how we got through to people 10 years ago in trainings like this.
Yeah, for sure. The lack of life experience is huge. They haven't been around long enough to be able to figure out how they should be processing certain things. And it's not just, the work part of it, it's the home part of it as well. We've got, there are financial issues and marital issues and spousal issues, kid issues, all of these things, there are members in the department that have gone through it and have weathered the storm and have come out the other side in better shape than they went in. So having that that life experience to be able to pass on and mentor to some of our younger members has been good.
Two things that you just said before I wrap up this podcast that I want to just highlight on. I think that I didn't think about this until you just said that, but having the power of, older, more experienced, engineers, captains, battalion chiefs to kind of mentor the younger firefighters, not just on firefighting skills and operations within the department, but on like life, what you just said. It's so important. And I think that's something really, really powerful that can be forgotten within this program. So.
Yeah. One of the great things about the fire service that I absolutely love is it takes people from all different walks of life and puts them together with a single goal. And you have all of these different people that have all of these different experiences that you can just draw from. We've got people that grew up in the fire service. We have people that are just trying to break into it. We have people that came from electrical backgrounds or building backgrounds, and all of these things are hugely important to what we do at work. So they have a wealth of knowledge in this one aspect of what we do. And if we can share that knowledge throughout the district, then everybody will be better for it.
Right. Everyone brings something unique to the table for the greater good. And I think that we've covered a lot in this discussion. I'm looking forward to having you back in a few months or even just a year to see how this program has evolved and what new opportunities we can offer our employees. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited to see where this journey takes Amador Fire.
Thank you.
And that wraps up episode 6 of the Amador Fire Can Report. A big thank you to Captain Gonsalves for sitting down with me to discuss the health and wellness program here at Amador Fire. Remember, we're more than just a department. We're your neighbors, your first responders, and your community partners. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, safety tips, and more behind-the-scenes stories. Until next time, stay safe and stay prepared.